And I think we are live. Awesome. Welcome back to the Change Position. I am Melissa Katie, the Challenge Doctor, with my awesome co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. And today is our Friday Faves on July 2nd. And we are going to review a little bit of our most recent episodes, of course, and the upcoming episodes, and of course, talk about our favorite things. And as we always do.
I always feel like we need to have that the song from which one is it? The Sound of Music. Is it Sound of Music? Right? These are a few of my favorite things. Raindrops on roses and da, 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 da. Like,
oh, we'd love to hear you sing.
This should be in the background.
Yeah, well, while I'm sporting some Nike and
Well, is that one of your favorite things? Is Nike? Do you enjoy Nike apparel?
I do enjoy their Nike apparel. It's I love the dry fit hats, especially when you run out in the rain and try to clear some soil that right before you go on the air. Yes, it's a weekend of chores outside. The problem is, I think we're going to feel like Portland or Oregon in general, because or the Pacific Northwest, because there's going to be quite a bit of rain, it seems like, over the coming months. But
yeah, that'll be good. I wish we had the rain.
Yeah, don't you guys have a huge heat wave out there?
It's over.
Okay.
But it was bad. Yeah, last weekend it was 111.
Wow.
And yeah, it was hot. Like, I mean, we've had weeks. We had 1 week in May a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, that would hit like 100, and that was sort of out of the obvious. And then there's usually maybe a week or so in the August that gets really hot like that. But I've never seen it at 111, and apparently that was a record. And because in Portland it was 109, which I think was a record. But yeah, it was hot, and they had the Olympic track trials in Eugene. So they had to goof around with that with scheduling, although I don't know if they scheduled it better or worse, given that it gets like our peak temperature is around 5 p.m. So I don't know. Anyway, it was hot. It was very hot, but it has cooled off dramatically, which is great.
Well, good. Yeah. It almost sounds like Austin weather by the sounds of it recently. So.
Well, don't you guys like hang out in the hundreds during the summer?
Usually, this is probably our mildest summer that we've had, but this is post major freeze, more rain than we usually have had. Of course, it's been pretty hot and humid recently, and without necessarily dropping the rain, but it's coming again. It just had a little spurt of it here a little while ago, but yeah. Welcome to Central Texas. It's predictably unpredictable and typically hot as hell.
Yeah, I think I'll take predictably unpredictable, usually rainy if it's unpredictable. But and having grown up in a desert, I grew up in a desert, so I'm used to that stuff.
Well, it's definitely I don't know. I like the sunshine. So, but why don't we you want to touch on what recently occurred in our podcast or upcoming?
Absolutely. And what did recently occur in all podcasts, except I always forget that we have a second tab because we're on the second 100.
Yes.
And getting that in there. But we had a couple cool episodes. Was the first one that dropped was Big Pleasures with Small Things. That's a fun episode. And I think what I've been really enjoying about the new format of the podcast and to talk about these things they're almost a little like a Friday fave way, because these are really important concepts that kind of recur over and over again. And that episode is little teeny things that provide you a significant amount of joy. So I'd encourage people to go to that episode and do some of the challenges associated with that as well. What are you taking by giving all the time is another good episode. That was the second one that I think just came out. That just came out on yesterday. Yeah, the first. I'm getting confused with the whole monthly change thing. I keep forgetting we're in July.
Yes.
And that brings about this idea, kind of moving into the somewhat of passive aggressive behavior, and it can be reflected on both ways when there's people who give, but they don't actually give. It's sort of, there's always this kind of quid pro quo sort of expectation with it, and they get resentful when they've given you things that you really never wanted in the first place. And sort of we go into a little bit more deep detail on kind of what giving is, and defining giving as it really, if you're giving something, you should be actually comfortable giving it anonymously, such that nobody actually even sees you do it, because that's the whole point.
Right.
And if you are giving something and you're expecting something in return, then that probably isn't the nature of giving. So another good episode there.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 more episodes that are coming up. One that's going to post on the 4th of July, which is sort of unbelievable, which has, I'm just going to give you the titles for these and let you guys work them out.
Yeah.
But July 4th is How Able Are You? I really enjoyed that episode. And then the second one that'll drop next Thursday on July 8th is Time is the Most Valuable Thing You Have. And kind of just take a moment and kind of think about what those 2 topics may mean, and then join us for those episodes when they come out on July 4th and July 8th.
Yes, sir. I like it. It's the hyphen.
The hyphen.
Time. Yeah, we go into, you can learn about the hyphen when you listen to the episode. But I guess, why don't do you want me to share, or do you want to share your favorite things? You have something?
I think you should start your favorite things.
Okay.
One of them, I'm assuming, it's got to be Nike.
It's got to be Nike?
Well, yeah, you're wearing Nike.
Well, we did kind of partially say that I do love hats, especially when I'm working outside, and the fact that I can, breathe a little bit with all my curly hair underneath. But I like the fact that it protects me from things that might fall into my hair and get lost, like, spiders or
spiders,
and cover up my face and protect my face from the sun. But no, that's one nice thing. My husband's an excellent shopper of nice Nike items, so he obviously provided this one for me for a gift. So I let him buy my hats because he does a good job. He's kind of a hat connoisseur of sorts.
Connoisseur.
Yes, he is. And one of my favorite things is my thoughtful, loving husband who always makes me my protein shake for my day of work. Yes, I get fresh fruit and let's see, sometimes peanut butter, a little bit of banana, almond milk. Yeah, so it's perfect because in my kind of world where I work in an operating room, you don't have a sit down lunchtime, especially if you're working independently. So those come in handy when you have a quick shake to down in between cases or whatnot. So
there must be something like a secret Facebook group for husbands of physicians that aren't physicians, like the husband's not the physician.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Yeah, well, because I know I have a friend whose wife is a physician, and when you said that, it just made me think of the same thing. Because he's like, "Oh yeah, you make sure that she gets her smoothie before she leaves." I'm like, God, this is a thing, I guess. So if you are out there and you're married to a physician, let us know if your spouse, the non-physician spouse, because in my house are dual physicians and nobody's making anybody smoothies other than ourselves. So if you have a non-physician spouse that's making you smoothies, let us know, because I want to know. There's got to be some stats on this, if that must be a thing.
I'm sure it's out there. I'm just grateful for my healthy shakes. So I get kind of like my liquid vitamin that I start my day off with. So yes, that is one of my favorite things. And well, I'll talk about the other thing that's gonna be my favorite thing, but I'm waiting for it to be delivered and yeah.
So it's an anticipatory favorite thing.
It's an anticipatory favorite. I'm kind of excited to see how it looks.
And that anticipation is important. We actually talked about that.
Yeah, see how I just dovetailed it in?
I know. Although nobody knows what episode that is, and we won't let them know. But
yes,
and how important that anticipation is. So very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So what are your favorites?
Well, one of my favorites. This is kind of carrying on to the big pleasures with small things, and this is a pen. And you can't read the pen.
Is that a pen?
It is a pen, right? And this is a pen. And this is one of those like swag pens you get when you register for a conference. And this one happens to come from Miracy, which is Danny Inney's company, who's obviously not a physician, but more in the whole internet and marketing world and does a lot around it.
Oh, I know Danny Inney.
Yeah, so he's an interesting guy.
Yes.
And Mirci is an interesting company, but this is just a really nice pen.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I write with it, it makes me think, man, this is a nice pen. And I'm like, man, I should email Danny and let him know what a great pen this is, because
Yes.
it's nice. And I use this is my reading pen. So one of my other favorite things is when I'm reading a deep book or a book that makes me think.
Mm-hmm.
Totally opposite than when I used to be when I was in high school, is I mark the hell out of my books. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
in there underlying things, tagging things, and I
You're
just love
very
doing it with this
intimate with
pen.
your books.
I am intimate with the books, and yeah, so and I find that very pleasurable in many ways. My intimacy with my books, it's a very special pleasure, intimate pleasure that I may
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
In this particular pen makes me think about that, and it particularly makes it's a pleasure to write in my intimate
It's
notes.
pleasurable. Another,
Pleasurable.
another able.
Another able, yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were just really wrapping into all old episodes today, aren't
I
you?
know. Hey, sometimes I'm on and sometimes I'm not.
So that's my favorite thing for this week. The other favorite thing that I have, which I may have mentioned in another previous week, is that this is fruit season in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a CSA for vegetables that we did last year, and we're doing that again. So it's always nice to kind of get fresh vegetables. Although we are luckily splitting that with somebody else, because it became a little bit of a stressor. Because every week you're getting this box and it just starts piling up. Now we're splitting it every other week, which is way more handleable. But we're also doing one on Oregon fruit. So we've been getting fresh fruit roughly about 10 plus pounds a week for like
Wow.
the last three or 4 weeks.
Talk about fiber.
Oh my God, we're eating so much fruit. It's awesome. Like the farm fresh strawberries were amazing. We've had cherries, apricots, the blueberries, which I did not care for their blueberries as much as our local blueberries, because our local blueberries are amazing. But the cherries are great. The apricots were phenomenal. And it's sort of, that's kind of fun, because now we're moving into this mixed thing. So you kind of don't know what you get, and they give you this big box, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a mixture of stuff, and you always have fresh fruit in the house. And it is just phenomenal. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So for the audience, what does the CSA stand for?
Oh God, I don't
You
remember.
know,
Something community supported
community.
agriculture, I think.
Okay.
It's
I've seen it
like local
before.
farms, like a local farm, like
Yeah.
not the big ag farms or whatever, but the local farms will actually do a subscription with those who live in the general vicinity.
Yeah.
And so now you're buying direct from the grower. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, it is. It's really cool. It's a kind of it's a big thing in Oregon, and
They have a lot here actually.
yeah. Well, you're Austin and you're weird, so I
Yeah.
associate that as well with
we're yeah. Portland, Austin, not that you're necessarily in Portland, but Portland's like a sister city of Austin for whatever that means.
Well, because your thing is like keep Austin weird, and Portland's is keep Portland weird.
Yeah, probably. San Diego's a sister city, and so is Adelaide, Australia, too.
That's quite fascinating, given
Yeah.
that Mosley's down in Adelaide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Very much
Very
so.
cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that caps off our favorites for the day. Do you want to take us out?
Our favorites for the day.
For the week?
For the week. Although there are many other favorites, folks, that we do have throughout
yes.
the week.
We're very appreciative of many
We're
things.
very appreciative, yeah. But anyway, we'll make this episode quick. So for the end of Friday Faves for Friday, July 2nd. Oh my God, just July 2nd of 2021. That's
Happy
absolutely
July
astounding.
4th. May we
We're
be
halfway
smart.
through with the year. Can you believe that?
I know.
That's like shocking to me.
I know. We just went through a whole pandemic thing last year too. Like it's just insane.
Yeah, and that, I mean, not to drag this out anymore, but it's just like weird. Like with the vaccine, we have a very, very high rate of vaccination in Benton County where I live.
Yeah.
And the governor for the state of Oregon eliminated restrictions. And so now you're just walking around. Like it's like, wait a second. It's like, what happened?
Yeah,
anyway.
that were the apocalypse.
I know, but yeah, it's just bizarre. Anyway, so another time, another place, and it's just kind of interesting to see how time changes and how we just really can't predict how we will feel in the future until we actually get there. But
exactly.
So for everybody else out there, this is Friday Faves with the Change Physician podcast. If you are interested in seeing us live on Fridays, you can hit the like button, or I think you can follow us on our Facebook page. If you would actually like to listen to the episodes, you can find them on Spotify or podcast or iTunes or any of the other major podcast distributors under The Changed Physician. You can also see us live, as I said last time. If you want to, some of us have a face made for radio, other people don't. And so they're a little more pleasant and interactive when we're here. You can see they're grimacing when I say something. But you can see us on our YouTube channel at The Change Physician there. And then finally, you can go to thechangedphysician.com, join the community, whether you're a physician or physician ally. We would love to have you and love to be in communication with you. So we'll see you next week at the same time, same bat station, I guess.
Yes. And have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Take care, folks. That feels like I need that needed.